What is up, ladies and gents? We are back, and in today's video I want to go over something extremely important, which is what everyone's been wondering, is what is the resonance stone and why is it important. So if you go here to any of the crafting merchants here, you can go ahead and look at this object called the trait resonance stone. It requires 2 of each material right here to craft, and you also need resonance stone fragments. And with this fragment, you can actually go into your actual build and fix it up. For example, let's see this piece right here. Let's go ahead and enchant, go to the traits, and you need a fully traded item for this to actually work. For example, this is not fully traded. However, if I go to the Hermit Shroud, you see how I have silence resistance. Now, the thing I found kind of confusing at the beginning is, can I upgrade this once I unlock it? But no, at the current moment, you can't. So you have to be very specific on what you want. And yes, you can stack a bunch of different effects. However, there's certain things that, in my opinion, kind of have a lot of value to it versus, what you're getting. For example, like bind resistance 28 or any of this stuff. By itself, it's not a lot. But if you want to stack a lot of it, sure. But I feel personally you'd want to go for health, mana, or mana regeneration, because even though mana regen seems small right there, you can actually stack a lot more and get more value from it. For example, let's go ahead and go to this belt right here. For example, I don't like sleep resistance. I don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead, and every single time that you want to roll for a new one, it's going to cost a resonance stone, and these aren't exactly cheap. Now I have weaken resistance, which is pretty good, but like I said, I would prefer to want to get HP, mana, or mana regen, unless I also do want to get like stun resistance. For example, let's say I have like 2000 in magic and ranged evasion, but the one thing that always gets me is melee. Then I'd probably want to go for really high stun resistance. Let's go over here and see what the Abyss necklace has. So as you can see, does it have stun resistance? It does not. And see, this is where it becomes an issue, because if it doesn't have the stuff that you need, then it's kind of like a moot point. For example, right here, I have stun chance for the Slaughter's Collar. Do I have stun resistance on here? No. So do I exactly want stun chance on this? I personally don't, because this is not the build that I'm going for. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that again, and I have silence chance. That's still usable. Do I want to keep it? Again, it's entirely up to what you want. And the cool thing about this too is the weapons have different stuff too, but it costs more. As you can see, the trait resonance is 2 stones. You can get more hit, cooldown speed, heavy attack chance. You can choose what you want to go for, so it kind of opens up a possibility of different builds. So I'm going to go ahead and check out another piece that I have. For example, let's see my gloves. I like to have survivability. That's just my playstyle. But you can choose your own, and look at the stuff that you get from your armor piece. So you can have more melee evasion, which is an extra 80, or you can have endurance, an extra 80. And again, this is where it kind of opens up a larger threshold of how much evasion you really want to get. For example, let's say I have ranged evasion here. Can I get ranged evasion as well on, let's say, like my pants, or let's see, my boots? Let's go ahead and look at this. And here you can get it. I have magic endurance. I'm just going to leave that there for now. So that's another ranged evasion. Now let's go ahead and see what opportunities I get for another piece. See, unfortunately, you can't really see the stuff. Not see the stuff. You can't really use the stuff until you're fully traded, but you can see what you could potentially roll. So let's go ahead and head over to my storage box so I can go ahead and see if the rest of the sacred set can roll for that. So the Sacred Vanquisher set, as you can see, it rolls ranged evasion as well. And I feel ranged evasion is really, really good against fighting against arc boss weapons like the Bellendir crossbow. But, your choice is up to you. So let's see. Going back to the chest piece, let's go ahead and look at the enchantment, go to the traits, and then check out the list here. You get ranged evasion again. So 80. Now let's multiply that. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that's on all 5 pieces. So that's 80 times 5. So what's 8 times 5? 8 times 5 is 40. So that's an extra 400 evasion that you can get right there. If my math is correct. So, but you know what? I'd like to be correct, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull out a calculator. So 80 times 5. Yep, extra 400 evasion just on the build alone. But as you can see, let's do I have it on one of my builds? Let me check. No, I don't. I need to actually put on the actual dagger and the dagger passive so you can actually see. So just for the sake of the video, to give you an idea, this is what I have currently. If I were to take off these two pieces, put on the sacred vanquishers and the sacred boots where they're at, and then the wraith chest piece. All right, and then the last piece right here. So this right here would give me what I need. And if I were to look at my build, this is what I have now: 806 melee evasion, and then when I roll, a little bit more. Magic evasion is a little bit higher, but again, it has to be fully traded for it to actually make sense. So if you really want to get your trait resonance up, I definitely suggest it. I really like it, mainly because one important thing is that it helps you reach a higher combat power, because without this stuff, if you were to compare it to another piece of item that doesn't have the trait resonance, it's not going to give you enough. For example, what I like to do is cheese my combat power on my overall build, so I can get to like 4200, for example. With weapon master and everything included, I can cheese 4278, so that way you can get to the party board and get to those high join now lobbies like this. But you know, I don't want to be in there, so open yourself up to a lot more opportunities and more dungeon runs by getting your combat power up, but also kind of min-maxing what you want for your overall build. And again, like I said before, I highly recommend like a 1200 ranged endurance, so that way arc boss weapons like the Bellendir crossbow just don't kill you, and you just have a lot more survivability for those snipers that, you know, those decisive long snipes, if you will. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment for any questions. Tomorrow or later tonight, I'm going to drop another build for the crossbow dagger. I'm trying to finish my whole build. As you can see, I have the helmet, the Dawn Mist gloves, Dawn Mist boots. It's almost at level 8. And then I'm going to get the Dawn Mist pants because it's a 4-piece. So that way you guys can see the build that you want for PvE and PvP. But thank you guys for watching. And as always, stay blessed.